This is our breaking news tonight. Donald Trump pulling out of Thursday's GOP debate because of his feud with Fox News. Bob Beckel is back with me, and we're joined by Barry Bennett, an advisor to the Trump campaign, CNN contributor Bakari Sellers, and Republican strategist Cheri Jacobus.
So that's another genius move by Donald Trump. He's a much better politician than people gave him credit.
Cheri Jacobus is shaking her head. Why you disagree?
Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea for somebody to skip a debate this close to the caucuses. But look, Donald Trump is a bad debater. When he is on stage, you can tell. This is why he wanted the debates to be shorter. He needed to find an excuse. He's got a tenuous lead, so he's using the Megyn Kelly manufactured kerfuffle as his excuse. What he's really afraid of is being up there facing the voters, facing the press, and facing his opponents. Because at these debates, Donald Trump, and some of these interviews, such as with Wolf Blitzer yesterday, he comes off like a third grader faking his way through an oral report on current affairs. Everybody knows it, he knows it, so he has to, his calculated risk here is, do I lose more voters if I show up and show that I'm not quite up on the issues and they've got me figured out, since this is a real serious debate now as we get closer, or do I lose more voters, if I just don't show up and make up this thing? So he knows he's going to lose people, and he's just figuring, you know what, I'm going to lose fewer people if I don't show up than if I show up and everybody can see that I'm just not up to par.
You think he'll look like he's taking a stand against being treated unfairly?
It's going to seem that way, but look, what I hope is that CNN and MSNBC and the other networks show a little bit of professional respect and unity, and not let somebody like this, call these shots. And I hope that you don't air the rally or whatever event he has. I think that a little bit of...
I think you're asking a lot. I'm pretty sure that everyone
Yeah.
is going to air that. I mean, what else would you do? As a news executive, as a journalist, I want to hear what he has to say. He is still very viable, and he's a front runner.
But you hear it every day, and it's not much that he has to say, or he can say it at the debate that everybody agreed to.
All right, so let's move on. Let's talk about Megyn Kelly now. Also had Tony Perkins on her show tonight, and he endorsed Ted Cruz. Donald Trump did get an endorsement of, again, Jerry Falwell, which of these guys do you think is going to get the evangelical vote? I'm going to ask you that, Cheri.
Well, first of all, it's Jerry Falwell Jr.
Jerry Falwell Jr.
And he is not his father. There's a lot of people who aren't real happy with that. They weren't real happy when he introduced him, almost endorsing him.
But meaning
Liberty.
he doesn't even carry the weight. Do you think he carries
He
the
doesn't,
weight
and in
of his
fact,
father?
Liberty University put out a statement, some tweets this afternoon, which I thought was really extraordinary, separating themselves from it, saying, we don't endorse, he speaks just for himself. And then his brother, the other son of Jerry Falwell, came out and pretty much separated himself from it. So it's not having the impact. There was also a women's pro-life group that came out and slammed Donald Trump today. So, there's a reason why Donald Trump does not want to be on a debate stage. He does not want these things brought up. He wants to run out the clock and hide. But as you know, a week is a very long time leading into Iowa. Ask Rick Santorum, ask a few other people. I think that this could really be the undoing of Donald Trump.
Who brings it? You think so?
I do.
Go ahead. Who is that?
But Don, one of the but Donald Trump said 41%. I mean, we're not talking about someone who is lagging behind in the polls. We're not talking about someone who needs an upshot. Donald Trump has been leading since this summer. This isn't anything new.
But he's been up and down in Iowa.
No,
I disagree. He's been up and down in Iowa, and the polls are kind of shaky right now, and there are still some undecideds. And also, there's a reason why I think Gallup is not polling during the primary, because it's so hard in primaries now, particularly in a caucus state, where it's harder, because as you know, they vote a little bit differently in a caucus state than they would in a primary. So, I think that the primary polls this time around, particularly in Iowa, I wouldn't be surprised if Trump won big. I also would not be surprised if he came in third. Again, look at Rick Santorum.
Donald Trump doesn't need the debate, is the truth. He's going to show up at a rally tomorrow in Iowa and have a TV audience probably just as big as Fox's, and he's going to get all of the time instead of 1/7.
But don't you think that the voters deserve to have the debate? You're calling him the front runner. Now, we only started referring to front runners based on polls in recent years. Usually we wait till there's some votes cast. But you're saying that the voters in this very critical time, in this final week, don't deserve to have it. The fact that Donald Trump has made Donald Trump has made this about him and the press rather than about the voters, I think is despicable.
I got to wrap this up, everyone. I've got some breaking news to get to.
I mean, he's on every day.
How can one demand that someone be removed from a debate stage? A journalist tell another corporation who they can have on a debate stage, Cheri?
Yeah, I don't think they should, and that's why I hope CNN and MSNBC kind of join in and don't let a candidate, no matter who the candidate is, pull this kind of stuff. You don't get to choose who is going to be the moderator. You can't decide what questions you think are off limits and are not. We vet our candidates. And here's what bothers me. A lot of Republicans and a lot of people at Fox, and a lot of the hosts, have gone out on a limb for years saying we should have vetted Obama more. And I agree with them. I don't understand why they have such a problem vetting Donald Trump. What Megyn Kelly, the question Megyn Kelly posed to Donald Trump was quoting him directly. Anything a candidate says or does in their entire life is fair game. And if Mr. Trump or any candidate, Republican or Democrat, has a problem with that, I think voters should really, give that a second thought if they want to back that
Here's
guy.
what Bakari